It's Friday. I'm heading home from a long day at work. Yeah, I'm so happy to get the hell out of there. Today on my motovlog, I will go over my cheap Bluetooth headsets that I'm talking to you right now on this on the mic set up in my helmet. So stay tuned.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me, Lost Tourist here. Okay, so today, like I said in the intro, I'm going to go over the Bluetooth headset I got, INTERCOM headset that I got the past winter, and I just started using it this spring from Amazon. And basically I've been using it since the spring, so I thought I'd do a little bit of a review now that I've been using it all season. And the season's almost over now. But basically I've been very happy with it. I liked that it's simple, that there's only basically the on-off button, the connect button, which is the same button, and then the multitask button, which is for answering phone calls or dialing out, and then this is your volume rocker here. So it's, you know, when you're on the road and you're riding, it's not a lot of buttons to figure out what you're doing, because, you know, when you're riding you want to be concentrating on what you're doing. So what I was looking for was something that was as little fuss as possible, and this really did the job. And for example, if you're taking a phone call, if when you're riding and a phone call comes in, I could either answer it myself by pressing this, or I could let it ring and eventually it will pick up. I think after the fourth ring it'll answer on its own, and I don't even have to touch a thing. So I've been very happy with it. The audio quality has been decent. The audio quality, as far as whether or not you can hear sufficiently, is determined on a bunch of different things. It's because on my helmet, for example, I haven't had any issue with hearing anything or hearing anybody talking to me. I could hear them. But on my wife's helmet up there, I think that helmet's got a lot of wind noise, so she can't hear me as much on the highway. And but when we're standing still, she hears me perfectly well. So another thing that determines your audio quality is the positioning of where you have your earpieces in. Now, you might not hear too good if the earpieces are way back towards the shell, the outside shell of the helmet. So what's advisable is you put in some padding beneath it, and it brings the earpiece closer to your ears, and I think that helps a lot. Another thing is, if you have a really loud bike, you're going to have issues with hearing properly. Like my wife's bike is super loud, and when she's got it revving, she's always saying what. But other than that, I've been happy with it. The range is really good. It's rated for 500 meters, but it's actually we tested it way beyond that, and it works good that way. The microphone is good. It's also waterproof or water resistant. I've been using this in the rain with no issues. It's got some kind of like a sort of a silicone kind of coating on it, and yeah, the rain hasn't affected it. And the one thing that I have a complaint about is the mounting system. Now, it's got 2 screws in there, and in my instructional video on how I unboxed it and how I installed it, I'll post a link down below, and you can click it to see that if you want to. That bracket is probably the weakest part of the whole unit, because it's made with plastic. So like I said in the instruction video, when you install it, don't over tighten it. And it's not that I over tighten it. I've had it for a while, and I think, you know, with weather and everything like that, the plastic may tend to get a little bit weaker, and I have had to make adjustments. Sometimes, you know, things get loosened, and I'd have to tighten it. And one day I was just tightening it, and then I just noticed I snapped the whole bracket holder off, but as you can see, it's still on there and it's not moving. So basically, I kind of made a semi-permanent application to the unit. You'll have to excuse me, it's very hot in here, holy. So anyway, what I ended up doing, I liked it so much and it's worked so well for me that I decided, you know what, I might as well kind of do a semi-hard mount. So I used part of the bracket that it came with, but now it's not held on with screws and a clamping system. It's basically, I just used part of the bracket to hold it, to have this attached to it, and I just put some 3M tape on the inside here, like I have 3M tape for my GoPro mount, and it's done the job. I did add a little bit on this bottom part here that sits on this part of the helmet. I did add a couple of drops of Gorilla Glue just for added thing, and from time to time I'll check that. And I have this kind of setup now for a while, and there's been days when I've been caught in some vicious windy weather riding home, and I thought, if that doesn't blow this thing off with this plus your highway speed, nothing will. So the mount is okay, and I mean, I'll check it from time to time anyway, just to make sure everything's good. But yeah, as far as that goes, been really happy with it. You can't go wrong with it. I paid $60 for one, and you can get a pair a little bit cheaper maybe. I think it was actually cheaper to buy it from Amazon singly, is what I recall from my video I did about this. But you can get this Bluetooth headset on eBay and different sites. It just says 500 meter BT headset. It's a no-name brand, and it's if you're on a budget like I am, my poor man's budget, I'm always trying to do things on the cheap, and it's always nice to find something that you know, is actually worth the cheap money. So if anything goes wrong with it, I'm not going to worry too much. It didn't cost much, and it served its purpose. And for those of you if you want to like listening to music while you're riding, which I don't, but if you do, this thing does a good job with it. I tried it out, and the audio quality is loud enough if you have the earpieces positioned properly in your helmet. That is one of the most important things, is the positioning of the earpieces, that you have it close enough to your ear, and that way the audio will be very good. And other than that, I have no complaints. I really wish the bracket didn't break, but I mean, I made it work anyway. My wife's bracket isn't broken, but mind you, she doesn't use that helmet a lot. And but that's it. So anyway, if you're in a market for a cheap Bluetooth headset, there's this one, and there's a couple other similar units. Some have 1,000 meter range, but the 500 meter one, that was fine, and we don't usually ride that far apart anyway. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention, it's a pretty important one. The battery life on this sucker is really good. We've used it all day, and by the end of the day of riding, we still have power. And I mean, I'll plug it in if we're out on a trip, obviously at the end of the day. But there's no worries about using it and running out of juice on it. And on the other hand, like example, if I'm just using it for my Bluetooth for answering phone calls and stuff, like on my commutes to work, that sort of thing, I won't charge it every day. I can go with 3 days of riding before I decide to charge it, and I just charge it because I figure I might as well, so it doesn't run out. But the battery power, we haven't had any issues with battery power, and that's a really important thing, and that's one thing that is good about it. Keeping in mind also that even though the plug looks like, actually it doesn't really look like it, but you can't use any kind of plug on this. You got to use the proprietary plug that comes with the unit, and basically make sure you don't lose that charger, because if you do, you're out of luck. You won't be able to use your smartphone charger to charge this thing up. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the thumbs up down below and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Lost Tourist signing out. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the thumbs up down below and subscribe if you haven't already.